The Len Eschman Award goes to George Kittle. The Eschman Award is voted on by the players and is given to the Niner who best exemplifies the inspirational and courageous play of Len Eschman, an original member of the 1946 Niners team. So, inspirational and courageous play, George Kittle. You think that's fitting for George?
I think so. Not many other guys are even a nominee for that this year. Maybe Demo, maybe Juwan Jennings, but I think it's got it. Fred, but I think Fred won another one. So, yeah, I think Kittle is no question winner of that sucker.
To me, this is the team MVP award as voted on by the players, and I think they got it right. George Kittle was the best player on the team this season. Offense, defense, or special teams. He was the one. He held the standard. I mean, really, you could argue that, like, I think that the numbers reflect it in terms of, like, passer rating when targeted. It was almost 140. He may have been the biggest mismatch in the NFL this season in terms of one-on-one. Him against whatever DB or linebacker you're going to throw on him. Like, with the Lions tried Brian Branch, that didn't work. I didn't see anyone who could cover George Kittle this year.
Agreed. Yeah, Kittle deserves a lot of these awards you could give to George Kittle. He was the MVP of the team. I said it like a month ago that he's the MVP of this team. If that's what this award is for, then clearly he deserves it.
And it's like, he's going to go down as one of the greatest tight ends of all time. Certainly in franchise history, the number one in franchise history. What's so interesting about him is comes in the league, 136 targets when he's 25. 136. That was 2018. Next season, 107 targets, and he's 26. They go to the Super Bowl. He's never cracked 100 targets since then. He had 94 this year. He had 90 last year, 86 before that, 94 before that. Like, Travis Kelce, who probably isn't better than George Kittle, like routinely gets 130 targets in a season. And he's 35. Yeah. And I just feel like no one could really ever cover George Kittle in the NFL. No one could really ever shut him down other than his play caller, who would forget about him from time to time, particularly in the playoffs.
Yeah, and the 49ers talk about they need changes this year. One of the changes they could make is use George Kittle more as he ages as a receiver than a blocker. Go to his greatest strength. I mean, he's a hell of a blocker too, but utilize him as a receiver more so than a blocker moving forward, I think would be a good idea, because he's going to get an extension from the 49ers this year, I would imagine as well. And so, like, to lengthen his career, maybe make him a receiver versus as much of a blocker as he is. I think they're missing out on his utilization to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, what people may not realize is that George Kittle is entering the final year of his contract. The extension he signed in 2020, he has no guaranteed money left on it. So in a sense, this is kind of similar to last offseason. Brandon Ayuk was the guy everyone knew the Niners needed to extend, and he was going to get paid the most money. And then other vets who were better than him were like, you know what? I need a new contract too. Turns out I don't have any guaranteed money left. And they were able to sort of take advantage of the situation of a team that was in the position of giving out extensions. Now you got Brock. He wants the moon. And you got Kittle being like, okay, well, I had a much better season than Brock Purdy. I just won the Eschman Award. I'm the MVP of the team. Guess what? I want money too. And how do you trade Kittle? How do you tell him no?
You can't.
I mean, Walsh might have, but this team isn't built like that. I just blew Ryan's mind. Look at him. He's like, I haven't thought of that.
Can you hear me right now? Can you hear me talking?
Yes.
All right. The thing about Kittle, man, is you can't move on from George Kittle. He's the best player on this offense right now. I think he's even better than Trent Williams is compared to his peers. So you have to extend George Kittle. You have to have him here.
All right. Next team award, the Bill Walsh Award, goes to Fred Warner. The Bill Walsh Award was established in 2004 in honor of San Francisco's Hall of Fame head coach. So this is sort of like an additional MVP award, although kind of different. The award, which is voted on by the coaching staff, is given to the 49er who has best represented the standard of professional excellence established by Walsh. So Len Eschbach voted by the players, Bill Walsh voted by the coaches, and it's kind of like an MVP award, but the way they define it is the standard of excellence that Walsh, the professional excellence and standard of excellence that was established by Walsh. What do you think of that going to Fred Warner?
I think he's another guy deserving of it. Another guy that's due an extension, no guaranteed money, that is going to get it. I think the 49ers have to. And the way he played through his injury, I mean, he was on the pace to be Defensive Player of the Year before he got injured. I think only his injury is what slowed him down, especially if you pair him up back with Dre Greenlaw next year. He's going to have.
I think this is interesting because you could argue that Warner should win the Eschbach and that Kittle should win the Bill Walsh Award, because Warner played on a broken ankle for like the whole season. That's courageous. Yeah. And Kittle was the most consistently excellent player on the team, setting that standard. I almost feel like what happened was the players voted for one and the coaches were like, all right, well, we got to vote for the other guy then, because both of them deserve recognition. They were the two best players in the team this season.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what happened. Yeah, they got to give Warner something. He deserves it. But the players probably voted for Kittle. So that's what was left for Warner.
Okay, the next award, the Bob McKittrick Award, which goes to Jake Brendle. The Bob McKittrick Award is given annually to the 49ers offensive lineman who best represents the courage, intensity, and sacrifice displayed by the longtime offensive line coach during his 21 years of service to the 49ers. Jake Brendle.
I don't have, I mean, my internet's not frozen. I just don't have words for you. Like that's a bad sign for next year is what that is.
Yeah. I mean, people who even like Kyle Shanahan gently are like, hey, Kyle, can you quit joking around with Jake Brendle on the field? I mean, he's not like, you could get a center off a practice squad of another team and he arguably would be better than Jake Brendle. He's been the worst player on the offense for a while. He might be the worst player on the team who starts, although Devondre Campbell was probably that while he was here. And I think every year, or at least this year, Niner fans are like really hoping and maybe talking themselves into Kyle Shanahan getting a good center. And then you see this and you're reminded that they love Jake Brendle.
I mean, it's the same thing with McKivitz last year. I mean, look, hey, McKivitz last year, we all thought he was absolutely awful. He stepped up, played better. Maybe that's what happened with Brendle. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he won the award, but I know forget. Right, he was bad. We thought he was going to be bad. We thought he should be cut, and he stepped up a little bit this year. Maybe Brendle can do the same thing this coming season, but it's not a good sign, man. I want them to find a real center. It's not a good sign that he got this award. Good for him, though.
Hold on. Let me tell you that I got to find out how to pronounce this dude's name because he's before my time. Hold on. How do you pronounce it? Damn it, I'm going to get this wrong. He's born on my same birthday. Nope, he died. Just kidding. He died on my birthday. Okay. I'm sorry. Neither here nor there. Okay. The Hazeltine Iron Man Award or Hazeltine Iron Man Award goes to Fred Warner. The Hazeltine/Tyne Iron Man Award is named for former linebacker Matt Hazeltine, a 13-year performer who played more seasons at linebacker than any other Niners player. Known for his durability and dedication, Hazeltine passed away in 1987 from ALS, and Bill Walsh established the award in his honor that year. Jesus, and I was making fun of the way his name's pronounced. I'm a jerk. Okay. Fred Warner gets a second award, and this one is for durability. I mean, obviously this one goes to him. He played through a broken freaking ankle. There should be like a Ronnie Lott award, and if there were, he would get that one too.
Yeah, I mean, who else is going to get it? I mean, Devondre Campbell. He's got to get this award. The team, the funny thing about this is the 49ers were so bad this year. There's really not that many people deserving of awards. I think one guy that got snubbed from a bunch of awards league wide and within the team is Deommodore Lenoir. I think he deserves some kind of recognition. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense for this particular award that Fred Warner gets that one too.
I feel like Devondre Campbell deserves some type of recognition as well. It doesn't have to be good recognition, but he really distinguished himself. I'm getting a text right now from Tom Jensen saying Hazeltine.
There you
I knew
go.
it had to be one of the two. And instead
Tom
of
would
picking
know.
one, I just Hazeltine. I like that. I think I was thinking teen because I'm Jewish and it's like, Steen instead of Stein. Steen, usually the Jewish way. So I made him a Jew, which in retrospect probably wasn't Jewish. Although there have been a lot of really good Jewish NFL players that we just don't know about. Patrick Mahomes.
You should make a show about that. Patrick Mahomes. Is he Jewish?
Yeah. You didn't know that? Joe Montana.
What?
Michael Vick.
What are you talking about right now? It's just insane. Yeah.
Sorry. The Thomas Harrion Memorial Award goes to Malik Mustafa. The Thomas Harrion Memorial Award was established in 2005 by 49ers owners Denise and John York and is presented to a rookie or first-year player who best represents the dreams of Thomas Harrion. The recipient has taken advantage of every opportunity, turned it into a positive situation, and made their dream turn into a reality. This award is voted on by the coaches. If you don't remember who Thomas Harrion was, he passed away, I believe, at a training camp practice because of a heat stroke, which was one of the bigger tragedies that the Niners have had at their facility. So they honor him every year. And it goes to Malik Mustafa. What do you think?
I love it, man. Mustafa is one of the guys I wanted the 49ers to draft. When they drafted him, I said he's out of all the rookies, he's the one I'm most confident in. So I love it. I think he's deserving of it. Now, I think Pooney probably is deserving of it also, but he's an offensive lineman. Those guys don't get much recognition. So, Renardo Green, hell of a job as well. But I'm all on board recognizing Malik Mustafa. I mean, he had the Lions players talking about him after the game and how hard he was hitting them. So I like this award for Malik Mustafa because he deserves it and it makes me look good.
Yeah, I feel like that was their best draft pick this year. Dominic Pooney's promising, and he could be there a long time. But in terms of like impact and like jumping off the screen, it's Mustafa. Renardo Green also looks good as well, but Mustafa looks like he could be a Pro Bowler for this team, maybe next year. And I wouldn't expect him to have like the sophomore slump that Jair Brown had.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm a big Malik guy. I have been before they drafted him, and
always have been. Minute they drafted him.
I've been following him since high school now. But since I started doing research on Malik, I've been a fan, and I knew kind of impact, and I'm glad they recognized him.
Okay, the Ed Block Courage Award goes to, guess.
Ricky Pearsall.
Hell yeah. The Ed Block Courage Award is named after Ed Block, the former head athletic trainer of the Baltimore Colts of 23 years. Block was a pioneer in his profession and respected humanitarian whose most passionate cause was helping children of abuse. The award is presented in his name each year to the player that exemplified a commitment to sportsmanship and courage. Ed Block Courage Award winners from each of the 32 NFL teams are honored at a banquet in Baltimore. All proceeds from the event benefit the Ed Block Courage Award Foundation's Courage House National Support Network. Named after the NFL team in a respective NFL city, a Courage House is a facility that provides support and quality care for abused children and their families in that community. The 49ers dedicated their Courage House in October 2003 at the Edgewood House in San Francisco. So, dude gets shot in San Francisco, and now dude is a humanitarian in San Francisco. This is pretty well deserved.
I mean, you get shot and you come back and play, and then the way he finished this season, really happy for Ricky Pearsall. I think he's a really good person based on like the interviews I see from him. I like him as a person. I'm looking forward to seeing what it can develop into. But yeah, I mean, if you get shot, survive, and have the wherewithal and the emotional stability to come back and play in a football game, I think that's tremendous, and he's definitely deserving of this award.
All right. The Perry/Yonamine Unity Award. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the second one correctly. It goes to Curtis Robinson. This award is presented to the Niners player who exhibits an exceptional commitment to promoting unity within the team and in their community. This award is named for the 49ers players and pioneers of unity and diversity. Joe the Jet Perry and Wally Yonamine is voted on by the players. I know Tom Jensen is somewhere is pulling out his hair being like, how do you not know Wally? because I was born in 1988. I'm sorry, but I have heard of Joe the Jet Perry. Curtis Robinson was the guy keeping the team together this year, apparently. Curtis Robinson keeping the team together. Maybe that's why the team wasn't particularly united.
That's interesting because this award is given out for something that we clearly have no perspective on. At least people, maybe you did being in the locker room, but people like myself not in the locker room, there's no way for me to understand why this award was given to him. I do like that he's consistently stayed with the 49ers even when he had other opportunities. He was hurt. He was a guy that was promising in the preseason. Hopefully he can come back and play this coming season for the 49ers, but I have no clue why he was given this award.
He's also their Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee, so I'm thinking he did a whole lot of community service this year. Remember, he got injured early on. So I'm thinking he was just nonstop, you know what I mean? Children's hospital, reading to kids, you know what I'm saying? Setting a good example, showing up. That's the Curtis Robinson I know.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
are, and what's cool is like we haven't heard about it. Like as fans, I haven't heard anything about it. And I cover the team and I follow all the news and I haven't heard about it. So it's not like he's doing it to get attention. He's just doing it because he obviously cares, because there's not a lot of news or information about that he's out here doing this stuff. He's just doing it because he's that kind of person. So that's great.
He's also the player union rep for the team. And remember, early in the season, Juszczyk took a shot at me in an effort to stop locker room interviews from happening midweek. So he made fun of me, but it was all about like, hey, we don't want to do these interviews in the locker room. Let's do them outside, which sucks. And thank goodness for Curtis Robinson. Went up to him and was like, hey, you know, we've been doing this way for a very long time. It doesn't seem like it's bothering anyone. Is it okay if we keep it the way it's been? And Curtis Robinson was like, absolute, man. We're an older team. We don't need to be told what to do. Each player can figure out what to do for themselves. And we trust you guys. So Curtis, salute.
That's big time. Yeah. Sounds like a really high character guy, man. Hopefully he can get back and play this next year.
Stanford.
There you go. Better than Harvard.
That doesn't really mean anything, but smart guy. Okay. Last one, the Gary Niver Award goes to George Kittle. It's his first time winning it. The Gary Niver Award is presented annually by the San Francisco chapter of the Pro Football Writers of America, ya boy, to a Niners player for his cooperation and professional style in helping the pro football writers do their jobs. The award is named after pro football writer Gary Niver, who was a longtime beat writer who covered the Niners for the San Mateo Tides. I did not know Gary Niver. My dad did, and he was supposed to be like one of the nicest all-time good guys whoever covered the team. That's why it's called the Gary Niver Good Guy Award. And again, it goes to George Kittle. You could almost look at this as like a lifetime achievement award because he's been here for so long and he's always been helpful with the media. But I do feel like he's almost gotten better. I mean, when he first was here, he was like a 5th round pick who was kind of no nonsense. Then he became Stone Cold Kittle and was a bit of a caricature. And I think in his early 30s, he's kind of melded it together. And now it's like an authentic. It's not a character anymore. It's him.
Yeah.
And his persona is just a little bit more authentic. And when he talks, it's not a joke. He can be serious. He can be funny. He's the best. He is the best spokesman on the team. Better than Lynch, better than Kyle, better than Brock. He's the guy, my opinion.
I think he's very deserving. We were last year, Bosa got it, I think, right? And then Trent Williams the year before that. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I think Kittle deserves it. What I like about Kittle is he respects you guys as people. And he treats you.
Agree.
Thing to say, but I think not all the players do that. I don't know if you heard anything I just said.
No, I heard none of it.
Okay, cool. No, let me try to get it out. What I like about George Kittle is he respects you guys as people and treats you guys as human beings, which should be, basic stuff, but it doesn't always seem to be the case from a lot of athletes. They don't understand that. So I think George Kittle is definitely deserving of that. Plus he bought you guys all shoes. Maybe he was trying to buy that award. Actually,
there's no question that he bribed us and that we fell for it. I mean, I had the shoes right here. I've never put them on. It's I'm going to show my kids one day. They're going to be like, who is George Kittle? I'm going to be like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He gave me these shoes. He thought I was so cool. We were best friends. You ever see that movie, Step Brothers? It's basically loosely based on my relationship with George Kittle.
Here's the thing, man. Kyle Shanahan could learn a lot from George Kittle. Deebo Samuel could learn a lot from George Kittle. Kyle Juszczyk could learn a lot from George Kittle. It's easy. What's the expression? It's easier to catch flies with honey, right? Like if Kyle Shanahan came up to Grant Cohn and said, Grant, I don't know what's going on between us, but let's sit down and talk and have an interview.
Here's my number. And instead of guessing what's going on in my mind, hit me up. I'll let you know.
Right. Yeah. If he was to take those steps, I promise you it'd be a lot harder for Grant to be critical of him. George knows this, and he's smart in that regard. And I also think he is genuine with it. I don't think he's playing a role with it. But I think George Kittle's a good role model for a lot of these players, and I think that's why he needs to be back on this team and hopefully retire a 49er.
And I think what's so interesting about Kittle's season, to wrap up here, not only was he the Eshmont winner, which means he was the MVP as voted on by his teammates. Not only was he the Gary Niver Award winner, which means the writers felt he was the most professional and helpful verbally, which is another part of his freaking job. But he was the best leader on the team, as evidenced by the whole Jake Moody situation. Like, Kyle didn't handle it well. Deebo handled it extremely poorly. And George Kittle was the one who actually put his arm around him in front of the whole world and offered him some encouragement. No one else on the team could do it, and George did it. So in every single way, he had an A+ season, and he did it all for the money. You're just gonna have to break him off, and when you do, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that, but you are gonna have to pay for every little good thing he did this year.
Yeah, and he deserves it, and that's why he's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Hell yeah, it's an honor to cover him. Had I been running this team, I would have traded him 2 years ago. Sorry about that. There's a reason why I'm just quality control and not general manager yet. But once I nail this first round pick this year, then I'm going to become the assistant general manager. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be John Lynch's right-hand man in like 6 months, but I got to nail this pick first.
I can see it. Before we wrap up, I do want to say I apologize for the internet to Grant and for the audience. I will get it fixed.
I mean, it's not your fault. You're in no man's land over there, but you will get it fixed.